A biker's ruthless wheelie crushed a dog for a $500 bet. His bike's roar drowning its anguished yelp as the crew cheered their cruel dare. The city park, alive with gravel crunching underfoot and bike fumes stinging the air, froze in horror as the biker laughed, his cackle ripping like a chainsaw, oblivious to the dog's owner nearby. Bystanders clutched kids, their gasps swallowed by the playground's distant hum, as the biker tossed his helmet, smirking at the lifeless heap in the grass. A capped stranger in a white t-shirt charged from the crowd, his voice a thunderclap of grief. "You murdered my dog," he roared, revealing himself as Jason Statham, the dog his beloved Max. His tear-streaked glare burned, fists trembling as he lunged. The biker, leaning back, sneered, "Just a stray," his taunt a vicious spark igniting jeers from his crew. "Cap guys barking up nothing," one hollered, another mocking, "T-shirts chasing a lost pup." Their laughter surged, a vile storm swirling around the park's stunned onlookers, who reeled from the brutality unfolding. Statham tackled the biker, his fists slamming like boulders, igniting a brutal fight that shook the park like a quake. The crew circled, their boots scuffing the dirt, as bystanders screamed, a teen thrusting his phone forward, shouting, "I'm filming this." His camera's flash sliced the chaos, a sharp beacon of evidence poised to bury the biker. The park exploded with raw violence. Statham's savage punches a firestorm of vengeance, the biker's smirk fading as he hit the ground. A creak from a strained park bench pierced the din, an ominous herald of a showdown spiraling into chaos, unnoticed by the jeering crew but searing the stranger's senses. The stage was set, the park a crucible of rage and reckoning, primed to unleash a truth that'd shatter the biker's cruelty and hook every listener with a fury too fierce to ignore. Before we proceed, like and subscribe to catch Jason Statham's epic face-off with a biker gang and comment where you're watching from today. A capped stranger in a white t-shirt strolled into a sun-soaked city park, his loyal dog bounding at his side, tail wagging like a metronome as he tossed a worn tennis ball. The park buzzed with life, gravel paths crunching under sneakers, exhaust clouds drifting from distant bikes, playground squeaks piercing the air, but a dark edge simmered beneath the cheerful hum. The stranger, grinning at his dog's joyful leap, had no clue a biker crew's cruel bets were about to shatter his world, their menace coiling like a viper in the park's shadows. Rex and his rowdy crew, thrill-seekers hooked on reckless dares, ruled the park's gritty edge, their bikes revving like snarling beasts, ignored by lazy security. They flashed crumpled bills, betting on chaos, smashing bottles, jumping benches, each stunt bolder, meaner. As the stranger knelt to scratch his dog's ears, a crew member's voice cut through, $500 to kill a dog. The dare landed like a spark in dry grass, Rex's eyes glinting as he revved his bike, the crowd's cheers fueling his twisted grin. The park's air turned heavy, danger flaring like wildfire, unnoticed by the stranger tossing his ball. Bystanders, clutching picnic bags, whispered uneasily, their voices sharp with worry. "They're scaring kids," a mom hissed, glaring at the bikes. "Those punks ruin the park," an old man muttered, eyeing the stranger's cap and t-shirt, clueless he was more than he seemed. Their murmurs swirled, a tense undercurrent distinct from the screams that'd soon erupt, as the crew's bets grew uglier, their laughter a blade slicing the park's warmth. The stranger's instincts twitched, his gaze catching the bikes roaring too close. "This place feels wrong," he thought, his hand tightening on the ball, senses sharp like a blade, unaware his dog was the crew's next mark. The park pulsed with hidden cruelty, the stranger's calm a ticking bomb, ready to explode into a fight that'd rip the biker's world apart, hooking every listener with a storm of rage brewing just beyond the playground squeak. The capped stranger's fists hammered like a tempest, jaw-crunching punches slamming into Rex, his grief for his dog a blazing inferno fueling each brutal blow. The city park, its gravel paths choked with bike fumes, detonated with violence as Rex, reeling, sneered, "You're nothing t-shirt," his taunt a cruel spark in the chaos. The stranger, eyes wild with fury, let out a guttural snarl, his white t-shirt stained with sweat as he drove a rib-splitting kick into Rex's side, the biker staggering under the onslaught, his smirk fading fast. Rex's crew circled like vultures, their bikes revving a snarling roar, clutching chains with eyes wild, jeering, "Smash the t-shirt, fool!" Another barked, "Rex'll bury this loser!" Their shouts of vicious storm, sharper than the park's earlier whispers, urging their leader to crush the stranger. Bystanders screamed, their voices a frantic chorus slicing through the playground squeaks. "He's crazy!" a mom shrieked, while a dad yelled, Get help! The teen from the crowd thrust his phone forward, shouting, I'm recording it! His camera a blazing beacon of evidence, capturing every bone-shattering hit in the park's erupting madness. The stranger's kicks crushed Rex's defenses, each strike a thunderbolt of vengeance, the biker wobbling as blood speckled the gravel. The crew's jeers grew louder, their chains glinting, poised to pounce, their rage a ticking bomb ready to explode. The park's air crackled like a powder keg, the stranger's skill a glowing ember hinting at a savage showdown, his every move a dance of destruction under the sun's glare. A woman's cry, "Someone stop this!" mingled with the teen's filming, the crowd's chaos a whirlwind feeding the stranger's fury. The fight roared on, the stranger's punches a relentless barrage, Rex's knees buckling as the crew's shouts turned feral, their boots scuffing closer. The park exploded with raw havoc, the stranger's t-shirt clinging to his frame, his cap steady as he fought, a lone force against the biker's cruelty. The tension surged like a hurricane, each blow a step toward a reckoning, hooking every listener with the promise of a brutal storm about to unleash its full wrath. The park ignited like a battlefield as Rex's crew leaped into the fray, their chains whipping like snakes, fists swarming like hornets at the capped stranger. "White shirts dust," one roared, his voice a menacing growl, while another snarled, "Cap's getting smashed." Their taunts a vicious gale, sharper than the jeers that had scorched the gravel moments before. The stranger, grief for his dog a raging storm, dodged a swinging chain, his black cap steady as he unleashed a throat-jabbing punch, sending the first biker crashing to the ground, eyes rolling back in a haze of pain. A second biker, pipe gleaming, lunged with a taunt, "Big mistake, loser!" But the stranger's knee-shattering kick exploded into his leg, toppling him like a felled tree, the crack of bone echoing over the playground squeaks. Bystanders gasped, their awe thunderous chorus. "He's a beast," a teen bellowed, while a mom cried, "No one can stop him!" Their voices a wild pulse, distinct from the screams that had pierced the park's chaos. The stranger's fury surged, his white t-shirt soaked with sweat, as a teen's phone tracked every blow, its lens a silent vow of justice glinting in the sun. The third biker charged, boots pounding, but the stranger's arm-twisting grapple slammed him to the gravel, his grunt swallowed by the park's erupting madness. The crowd's gasp swelled, a woman shouting, "He's unreal!" As the stranger's dominance blazed, a firestorm carving through the crew's arrogance. Rex cowered, bloodied and cornered, his crew sprawled like broken toys, their chains limp in the dirt. The park flared like a supernova, the stranger's cap a beacon in the chaos, his every move a hammer of vengeance for his fallen dog. The air crackled like a live wire, the stranger's skill a blazing comet hinting at a final crushing blow. Bystanders leaned in, phones flashing, capturing the carnage as the crew's defeat loomed, a reckoning poised to shatter their cruelty. The stranger's fists clenched, ready to end it, hooking every listener with a storm of justice that burned too fierce to fade. The capped stranger's fists thundered like artillery, a final barrage of skull-rattling uppercuts and chest-caving kicks slamming into Rex, his snarl a raw explosion of vengeance. "For my dog!" he roared, each bone-shattering blow a requiem for the life stolen by Rex's $500 dare, the biker's body crumpling like a rag onto the park's gravel, blood pooling under the midday sun. The stranger's white t-shirt clung to his frame, soaked with sweat, his black cap a steady beacon as Rex's eyes rolled back, his smug laughter silenced in a heap of defeat. The park blazed with the fire of justice, its gravel paths and exhaust-tainted air trembling under the weight of a reckoning that hooked every listener with its brutal truth. Rex's crew, already knocked out, lay sprawled in a stark tableau of ruin, one clutching a broken jaw, teeth gritted in pain, another slumped over his bike, chain limp beside him, the third sprawled face down, arm twisted from the stranger's grapple. The bystanders, their picnic blankets forgotten, erupted in triumphant cheers, their voices a victorious storm slicing through the playground's distant squeaks. "He crushed them!" a dad bellowed, fists pumping, while a teen shouted, "Justice served!" her eyes wide with awe. Their cries, sharp and varied, soared above the park's chaos, distinct from the gasps of moments before, a chorus of triumph that fueled the stranger's resolve, each cheer a spark keeping viewers glued to the unfolding drama. The stranger, his fury a smoldering ember, restrained Rex's limp form, his grip iron as he dragged him across the gravel, shouting, "You killed my dog for a bet!" His voice, raw with grief, echoed over the park, a clarion call that silenced the last of the crew's echoes. Bystanders, phones flashing like beacons, surged forward, a mom yelling, "Call the cops!" her voice cutting through the din. The teen from the crowd, his phone still rolling, thrust it toward a woman cradling a toddler, who nodded, dialing for help. "I'm recording it," the teen hollered again, his video capturing the dare's cruel laughter, the bike's roar, and the dog's final yelp, a blazing testament of evidence poised to bury Rex and his crew. Police swarmed the park, their boots pounding the gravel, cuffs snapping tight on Rex's wrists as he mumbled, "Didn't mean it," his plea drowned by the crowd's roar. The officers, guided by the teen's footage, nabbed the crew, hauling them from the dirt, one groaning, another limp, the third cursing through a swollen lip. The video, passed to a stern-faced cop, played back the $500 bet, Rex's wheelie, and the stranger's dog crumpling under the bike's weight, sealing their fate with a truth that scorched like a wildfire. The park erupted like a volcano, bystanders chanting, "Lock 'em up!" Their voices a tidal wave of righteous fury, distinct from the awe that had gripped them moments ago, each shout a hook sinking deeper into the listeners' hearts. The stranger stood tall, his cap low, his t-shirt streaked with dirt and sweat, his eyes fixed on Rex as the cuffs clicked shut. "You gambled with a life," he growled, his words a jagged blade carving through the park's charged air. "And you lost big." The crowd leaned in, phones still flashing, a grandpa muttering, "He's a real fighter," his voice thick with respect. A kid, clutching a soccer ball, yelled, "You showed him!" his cheer a spark of hope amid the chaos. The park's pulse thrummed with a new rhythm, the stranger's vengeance a comet blazing through the wreckage of the crew's cruelty, its light searing every witness and listener with a promise of justice that wouldn't fade. The police vans revved, tires crunching as they pulled away, Rex and his crew mere shadows against the stranger's towering presence. The bystanders' cheers swelled, a woman shouting, "He's our hero!" her voice soaring above the playground's hum, a testament to a fight that had rewritten the park's story. The stranger's cap tilted slightly, his gaze lingering on the spot where his dog had fallen, a silent vow etched in his stance. The park, once a playground of joy, now stood as a crucible of truth, its air alive with the stranger's triumph, hooking every listener with a saga of rage and redemption that roared like a hurricane, ready to crash into the next beat of a story too fierce to forget. The capped stranger loomed over Rex, his voice a searing flare that scorched the park's gravel air. "You bet on death, pay now!" he roared, his words a steel blade slashing through the $500 dare's cruelty, pinning the biker where he slumped, battered and broken. Police swarmed, cuffs snapping like iron traps on Rex's wrists, the teen's video nailing the crime as officers yanked the crew from the dirt, one cradling a busted jaw, another limp, the third spitting curses through a swollen lip. The park, its gravel paths and exhaust fumes now a stage for triumph, roared like a tempest, the stranger's white t-shirt a banner of grit, his black cap a beacon as he faced the ruins of the biker's reign, hooking every listener with a justice too fierce to fade. Rex, eyes wide with panic, mumbled, "Just a bet, man!" his plea a frail whimper swallowed by the bystanders' vengeful cries. "You'll pay for that dog," a dad bellowed, shaking his fist, while a woman snarled, "Jail's waiting!" Their fury a molten blaze, distinct from the cheers that had crowned the stranger's takedown. Their shouts tore through the playground's hum, a righteous fire that buried Rex's excuse, each cry a hook sinking deep into the listeners' hearts. Phones flashed, a kid yelling, "Burn for this!" The crowd's wrath a storm fueling the stranger's resolve, their voices sharp and varied, slicing the park's tense air. The stranger's gaze, steady as stone, held Rex fast, his voice a piercing call. "Choose life over dares," he urged, his wisdom a thunderbolt shattering the biker's arrogance, a plea for redemption that echoed over the gravel. The park's air surged with respect, the stranger's moral a beacon cutting through the haze, its clarity gripping every listener. A mom nodded, muttering, "He's right, no more cruelty," while a teen cheered, "That's the way." Their words a vibrant weave, distinct from the awe and cheers of before, a spark of hope in the chaos. The park united, banners waving for pet laws, kids sketching tributes on the gravel, their crayons a vow to guard every furry friend. Police vans revved, hauling the crew away, their shadows fading under the stranger's unyielding stand. A woman shouted, "We'll protect our pets," her voice soaring, while an old man added, "You showed him." The community's resolve a river surging through the park, distinct from prior cries. The stranger's cap tilted, his t-shirt streaked, his fight a lighthouse in the storm, blazing a path for justice that hooked every listener with a truth that burned like a flare, unyielding and eternal. The capped stranger stood resolute, his voice softening to a heartfelt beacon that pierced the park's gravel-strewn air. "Bet on love, not blood," he urged, his quotable call a radiant plea to shun the $500 dare's cruelty, offering the crowd a path to rise above the wreckage. The park, its exhaust fumes fading under a hopeful breeze, blazed like a sunrise, the stranger's white t-shirt streaked with dirt, his black cap a steady emblem as he faced the hushed bystanders, their phones still glowing with the teen's video echoing in their minds. Every listener hung on, hooked by a redemption arc that pulsed with heart, its truth a spark too bright to dim. Bystanders, their faces heavy with guilt, stepped forward, voices thick with remorse. "We let your dog down," a dad choked, his eyes downcast, while a woman whispered, "Should have stopped them." Her words a raw confession, distinct from the vengeful cries that had scorched the park moments before. Their apologies, varied and aching, wove a tapestry of regret, rejecting the crew's cruelty with hearts laid bare, each plea a hook sinking deep into the listeners' souls. A teen, clutching a skateboard, muttered, "We failed you," his voice trembling, the crowd's sorrow a quiet storm, unlike the cheers and shouts that had fueled the stranger's fight. A kid, gripping a leash, stepped up, his eyes bright with resolve. "No dog gets hurt again," he vowed, his small voice a clarion spark, igniting the park's new purpose. The crowd nodded, neighbors sketching plans on napkins, their hands trembling with a promise to guard every pet, a commitment rooted in the gravel where blood had spilled, distinct from the banners raised in triumph. The stranger's gaze softened, his cap tilting slightly, a silent nod to their pledge, his stand a lighthouse guiding the park toward healing, its glow a magnet for every listener's heart. The park's air surged like a flood, respect blazing as the stranger's words reshaped its soul, cruelty melting like wax under his unyielding truth. The teen's footage, now in police hands, lingered in their minds, a silent vow that the crime would not fade. The narration soared, a vibrant river of redemption washing over the chaos. The strangers fight a sunrise that scorched every shadow, hooking listeners with a legacy of hope that roared beyond the park's sunlit paths, unyielding and eternal. The capped stranger's voice, warm as a hearth, cut through the park's gravel air with a bold quip. "My dog showed me heart. No dare beats that," he said, his words a radiant spark that eased the tension, charming the crowd with a nod to loyalty that glowed like a beacon. The park, its playground squeaks now a backdrop to unity, flared like a supernova, the stranger's white t-shirt streaked with dirt, his black cap a quiet crown as he stood among the bystanders, the teen's video lingering in their thoughts, a silent echo of the truth that had toppled the biker's cruelty, hooking every listener with a bond too deep to break. Bystanders, their eyes bright with wonder, pressed closer, their questions a vibrant weave of curiosity. "How'd you get so tough?" a dad asked, voice thick with awe, while a teen grinned, "You sticking around?" Their words forging a connection, distinct from the remorse that had weighed their hearts moments before. Their queries, varied and eager, danced through the park, a chorus of admiration that stood apart from the vengeful shouts and triumphant cheers, each question a hook pulling viewers deeper into the stranger's orbit. A mom, clutching a picnic basket, nodded, "You're one of us," her voice a soft pledge, the crowd's warmth a fire kindling under the sun's glow. A woman stepped forward, her gaze steady. "You're our park's shield," she declared, her vivid tribute a banner raised high, cementing the stranger's hero status with a glow that outshone the playground's hum, distinct from the vows and cries that had come before. The park erupted like a starburst, bystanders clapping, a kid shouting, "You're the best!" his voice soaring, their unity a thunderous storm that gripped every listener. The stranger's cap tilted, his t-shirt a testament to grit, his heart binding the crowd in a blaze of courage that thundered like a storm, a peak that hooked the audience with a promise of hope, its light a comet streaking toward a final, unyielding truth. The capped stranger's voice rang out, a bold clarion that sliced through the park's gravel air. "Own your choices. Don't trade lives for cash," he declared, his quotable call a searing rebuke to the $500 bet's cruelty, urging accountability with a fire that burned brighter than the midday sun. The park, its playground squeaks now a hum of hope, erupted like a volcano, the stranger's white t-shirt a banner of grit, his black cap a steadfast crown as he faced the gathered crowd, the teens' video burning in their minds, a relentless echo of the truth that had shattered the biker's reign, hooking every listener with a resolve too fierce to wane. To the crowd, he added, voice heartfelt, "Cherish your dogs like family," his words a vivid spark, inspiring a future where every pet was a treasure, their leashes symbols of love. The bystanders leaned in, a dad nodding, "That's the way," his voice thick, while a teen whispered, "You've changed us," her eyes gleaming, their pledges a vibrant weave, distinct from the remorse and cheers that had shaken the park. A woman vowed, "We'll stand for every pet," her voice soaring, joined by a kid's, "No one hurts our dogs." their unity a tsunami surging through the gravel, a commitment that gripped viewers with its radiant promise. The stranger tugged his cap, t-shirt flapping in the breeze, his gritty drawl cutting through. "I'm done here," he said, striding off, his shadow a trail of courage that etched the park's soul. The crowd's pledges swelled, a grandpa shouting, "We'll keep him safe!" His vow a thunderclap, distinct from the vengeful cries and awe of before, each word a hook sinking deep into the listeners' hearts. The park pulsed with a new dawn. The strangers stand a comet blazing through the haze, its light a testament to a fight that had rewritten its story. The narration soared, a wildfire of truth that scorched every doubt, the stranger's justice a beacon reshaping the park's heart, his dog's loss a spark that surged like a tsunami, hooking listeners with a legacy of love that thundered beyond the gravel paths, eternal and unyielding.